And to me at least, I think it's genius. I think the Big Ten is about to pull off a genius move. But, and I have a really big but, here's where it could be a bad thing. Do y'all remember that one episode of SpongeBob where I believe they were leaving the Krusty Krab open for a long period of time, or they were working like 24/7, and Mr. Krabs, he's ringing that bell. He's like, day 23, and everybody's going crazy. Well, that's how I feel with this college football situation. I feel like Mr. Krabs, I've lost count at this point. What day are we on? Like 2021 of talking about this conference realignment crap? And what's so funny about this is the past 2 days, I've stated this at the end of the videos. I've said something along the lines of, oh yeah, probably we won't talk about this for the next couple of weeks. We won't hear any more information. And then boom, what happens? Either right after I upload that video or the next day, more chaos, it ensues. It feels like deja vu. It's a never-ending cycle, but hey, I ain't complaining because it's really the only thing going on in the sports world. In today's video though, obviously, if you couldn't figure it out, I'm sure you already did, we're going to talk about the newest of new updates. Late last night, when I was working out at the gym, in the middle of my workout, it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. The Big Ten has found a secret advantage over the SEC. We got some other minor things to speak on, but the premise of this video, it's simple. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like college football content, consider joining our community, because once college football season arrives in not even just a couple months, but a couple of weeks, you already know how we get around here. It is all we talk about. If you're not a part of our community, the season is right around the corner, so consider joining. And man, oh man, I can't speak for y'all, but y'all guys, you've been sending me messages every single day on Twitter and Instagram saying that you can't wait for the season, and I'm right there with y'all. It's right around the corner. I can feel it. I can smell it. It's coming soon. But all right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Should have crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Hold on. Before we get into the football stuff, on the previous video last night, Sober Dover 3716, cool name by the way, said this. Yo, Matt, thanks for being an inspirational figure in my life, dude. Keep up. I think he meant to say keep up, but he said keep on the great work, brother. I like to share nice comments like that every now and then. Thank you for the humbling and very kind words, my man. That comment made my day. I hope I can be a little inspirational every now and then, because I try my best. I really do. Thank you yet again. But without further ado, let's get into the football stuff. First things first, I got to address this. You guys have been blowing me up, sending me this left and right. And at first, I didn't believe it, but I guess it's true. If you've been watching the channel for the past couple of years, you would know I call Stetson Bennett Stetson Doordash Bennett. I'm not going over why I call him that. If you don't know, well, somebody will inform me in the comment section. I don't have time to sit up here and explain that. It honestly should be self-explanatory. And I know what some of you sitting there saying, okay, yeah, Matt, we already know that, but why are you bringing it up? And the reason I'm bringing that up is because a couple of days ago, it came out that Bryce Young stated he drove for Doordash when he was playing quarterback at Alabama. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. I actually thought it was a joke. I thought it was some AI-generated video. No, it's true. Bryce Young was a Doordash driver. According to Bryce Young, and allegedly before the NIL, his freshman season when he was there, he was making DoorDash deliveries to get some extra money. Before we go any farther, let me state this. There's nothing wrong with being a DoorDash driver. Nothing at all. That's not why I'm bringing this up. I'm not laughing at a man for working. I don't care what job you do. If you work hard, I respect you. The reason I'm bringing this up, and everybody, y'all know this, is because I've called Stetson Bennett Stetson Doordash Bennett the past 2.5 to 3 years. And come to find out, the real DoorDash driver was Bryce Young. You can't make it up, man. You can't, but still, everybody knows this. Stetson Doordash Bennett, it's just such a great name. It's so fluent. It fits him perfectly. I did want to share that with y'all because I had so many people sending me that on Twitter. Getting that out the way, though, let's lock in. Let's get down to the business, the nitty and gritty, and talk about this realignment BS that is unfolding in front of our eyes in live time. We're getting updates on this every single hour. Actually, hold on, scratch that. News just came out. This is breaking news as when I'm speaking, that Arizona and Arizona State will make it official to the Big 12 this evening, and that Yormac has given the Utes the weekend to decide. Wow, what about that? We got some breaking news in the middle of the video. And of course, this is coming courtesy of one of our very reliable sources on the channel who has been right a lot, and this is Greg Swain. Did I say Swain? I meant to say Swain. You get what I'm trying to say. We'll get to that in just a second. Let me go over what I meant to go over first. And like I said in the intro, I thought about this last night. We'll just use the SEC as an example. I live in the Southeast, so we'll use the the Central time zone as well because that's my time zone. If you're an SEC or Big Ten fan and you're in the Central time zone, there's 3 game slots, 11 a.m., 2:30, and either 6 or 7. Sometimes the 2:30 game gets pushed back to 3. Sometimes the 6 o'clock gets pushed back to 6:30 or 7. But the point is, there's 3 primarily time game slots. 11, 2:30, and 6. You got 3 games that are spaced out evenly so people like me and you can watch all of them. There's a reason we don't have teams kicking off at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because you wouldn't get enough revenue and people couldn't watch all the games. We space them out like that for a reason. It all comes down to money. Well, last night I was thinking about it. If the Big Ten does, and it looks like they will add Washington and Oregon, they're going to have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 teams out west. And help me out in the comment section, what time zone is Oregon and Washington in? I know all those 4 teams, USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington, it's either Mountain West or Pacific. I don't know which time zone they're in, but the point is, they're at least 2 hours behind all the teams in the Big Ten, or at least all the teams currently in the Big Ten. And that's why, for example, a night game where USC and Utah are playing, for us in the Central or Eastern time zone, they're kicking off at dang near 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. Or not 12 to 1 a.m. That's kind of stretching it. But a lot of times they're kicking off at 10:30 p.m. But to them, that's their 7 p.m. And I know this is kind of confusing, but just hear me out and pay attention. Well, what's going to happen is if the Big Ten does that all 4 of these teams, you could have, for example, at 11 o'clock, Ohio State playing Nebraska. That's your 11 o'clock game. But then at 2:30, you could have Illinois traveling to USC. And then you could have your normal and typical late night Big Ten game between Penn State. Let's say Penn State's hosting Oregon. And normally that'd be your last game for the Big Ten, but since you're adding these 4 Pac-12 teams, you're going to have another primetime game after that. You could have, let's say, Northwestern traveling to UCLA. My point is, and I hope that wasn't too confusing, the Big Ten is going to have 4 time slots that are essentially evenly spaced out. You're going to be able to watch a team play at 11, 3, 7, and 10, something like that. Whereas currently for the SEC, it's only going to be 11 a.m., 2:30, and 6. You see what I'm saying? And to me, at least, this is like my conspiracy theory on the situation. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe that's why the Big Ten had a change of heart, and they was like, you know what, a matter of fact, let's go after Oregon and Washington. I think the Big Ten, they don't even necessarily want Oregon and Washington, but they're trying to get a lot of market share. I think a good example is, you know what, since we already talked about Doordash Bennett, let's use Doordash as my example. I got a great one for y'all. I've never ordered Doordash a day in my life, but I've talked to some of my friends that have, and they stated, and I've heard people say this too, that anybody and everybody, they can get on the app. Almost anybody can be a delivery driver. It's really easy to be a delivery driver. They're running Super Bowl commercials. They got ads everywhere. Why is that? Because they want a lot of the market share. And that's a good thing because when you think of a food delivery service, the first one that comes to your mind is DoorDash. But, and I have a really big but, here's where it could be a bad thing. You let anybody and everybody on, therefore you're going to have more bad experiences for customers. Whereas, for example, let's say you got Uber Eats, well, they're not going to let as many people on. They don't advertise as much. So they probably got better employees. You see what I'm saying? But Uber Eats and Grubhub, they don't have as much market share. So more than likely, their numbers aren't as good as DoorDash's. And I can name off more examples like this. It's the same thing with Walmart. Walmart's complete trash. You can't change my mind, but they got the biggest market share out of anyone. Whereas Target, on the other hand, they don't want the biggest market share. They want their customers to have the best experience possible. And to me, at least, I think the Big Ten understands, hey, we're not as good as the SEC, and we probably won't be. So the only way we could try to catch up is if we get a ton of market share. And to me, at least, I think it's genius. I think the Big Ten is about to pull off a genius move. Because I want you to think about it. If you're a diehard college football fan like myself, what do you think of on Saturday? When it's Thursday or Friday and you're trying to make plans with your friend group and they're like, hey, you busy Saturday? And you're like, well, let me see who's playing at 11. Let me see who's playing at 2:30. And let me see who's playing at 6. If you're a diehard college football fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's the 3 time slots you look for. Who's playing at 11, who's playing at 2:30, and who's the night game. Well, now, with the Big Ten, and I can't emphasize this enough, in a couple of years, we might be saying, okay, who plays at 11, and then who plays at 3, who plays at 7, and who plays at 10. The Big Ten's going to have 1 extra time slot because of the time zone difference. Do what you want with that information. Do what you want. Let me know your thoughts down below. But